UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Font is happening this weekend, and I'm going to give you guys my picks for the entire card, starting with the first fight, going up to the main event. Let's get right into it. First fight is Oday Osborne versus Almabayev. Almabayev is nearly a 2-1 favorite. I think they're basing that purely off of this guy's fucking name. Uh, I've done some deliberation on this fight in particular because I don't like Oday Osborne, but he's not terrible. Like, he beat Charles Johnson, who I think is okay, and I think it's a level above anybody that Asu Almabayev has beaten. He's fought better competition than Asu Almabayev. I just don't know if I can trust some guy that I've never really seen fight anybody who's worth a shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, his record's 17-2. That's real pretty. That's real nice. But ah, like, against who, man? Vending machine attendants? Like, I just can't trust it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going with Oday Osborne, and he's a sizable dog. He's plus 160. I'm gonna go with Oday Osborne, maybe by decision. He's also huge for flyweight. He's a big dude for flyweight. 5'7's big for flyweight. So I'm gonna go with Oday. I'm gonna trust the experience. He's still young too. He's only 31. So Oday Osborne, probably by decision. Now, the next fight they have listed here is Sean Woodson and Jesse Butler, but Jesse Butler pulled out recently. And I believe Sean Woodson is fighting some fucking Brazilian guy. Yeah, he's fighting a guy named Marin Santos Alves, who's 13-1. And his only loss is to Dan Argueta. And Dan Argueta's pretty decent. But I don't know enough about this guy to actually give a pick, to be honest. Because I don't just want to say some random ass shit. Because this guy's 13-1, and his only loss is to Dan Argueta. And this fight had to have been made relatively recently, because ESPN doesn't even have him listed as Sean Woodson's opponent yet. So I'm actually, first time ever, I'm not going to give you a pick on this shit, because I really don't know. I haven't watched any tape on this guy he's fighting. So I can't even give you an educated pick on that one. So I'm just going to skip Sean Woodson. The next fight is one I've been pretty excited for. It's Cody Durden versus Jake Hadley. This is a high-level fight. Both of these guys are pretty good. They have Jake Hadley as a 2-1 favorite, which I kind of agree with, but I do think it's a little disrespectful to Cody Durden. I'm going to go with Jake Hadley. I just think in the striking exchanges, I think he's going to be a lot cleaner, and I think he's got good body shots. And I believe it was Cody Durden's last fight against Charles Johnson. He was getting really fucking hurt by body shots really often. It's just that Charles Johnson just, I don't know, decided to not hit him in the body when he was hurt to the body. Interesting decision by him, but I think Jake Hadley is just a better striker. He's very dangerous everywhere. Cody Durden's a monster wrestler, but Jake Hadley has very good submissions. I just think a lot of this fight's actually going to take place on the feet because both these guys are pretty adept at grappling, and I think Jake Hadley's going to have the edge on the feet. Probably going to be a Jake Hadley TKO, I think. Methinks. Going up, we have Billy Corrinello versus Damon Jackson. A lot of these fights are actually pretty interesting. A lot of these are pretty good matchups. Um, Damon Jackson is weird. He's a weird one because I think he's bad, but he beats a lot of people, which boggles my mind. He did just get knocked out brutally by Dan Ige though. But Billy Corrinello just got brutally knocked out by Edson Barboza. Uh, fuck. I think Damon Jackson's best chance of winning this fight is if he can get a submission, but I don't think he's going to get one on Billy Corrinello. I think he's too defensively sound. And I think his volume and I think his striking is significantly better than Damon Jackson's. And Damon Jackson doesn't really like pressure that much. You kind of saw it with Dan Ige. He was kind of absolutely horrified of being anywhere near him. With good reason, to be fair. Billy Corrinello doesn't exactly have Dan Ige power, but he does have a ridiculous pace and very, very large amounts of pressure. I think he can melt Damon Jackson on the feet, and I don't think he's going to get submitted by Damon Jackson. It could happen, but I don't think so. I think I'm going to go with Billy Corrinello, probably getting a TKO in the later rounds with better striking, tons of volume, and tons of pressure. Moving up to welterweight, Jeremiah Wells, Carlston Harris. This is what I'm talking about when I say I see a lot of interesting matchups on here. A lot of these fights are like 2-1 or like evens, which is, it makes it harder to bet on, but it makes it more fun to watch. Jeremiah Wells, what was this last fight? It was Matthew Simmelsberger. That fight was a fucking, that fight was a mess, but it was fun. Carlston Harris, who did he fight last? I think it was Jared Night Train Gooden. That fight sucked, and Carlston Harris looked terrible in that fight. Yeah, I think Jeremiah Wells is gonna knock out Carlston Harris just straight up. Carlston Harris is really big, but his striking defense, he's just out there too much. Like, he's too open for too long against a guy like Jeremiah Wells who has that nuclear power. I can see Carlston Harris getting caught pretty frequently. And if you're getting caught frequently, you don't want Jeremiah Wells to be the guy that's catching you frequently. They're both 36. What is Carlston Harris? I mean, Carlston Harris could catch Jeremiah Wells with something, but I feel like the likelihood is way higher that Jeremiah Wells lands a big shot on him. Because Jeremiah doesn't leave himself quite as open as Carlston Harris on the feet. Yeah, I talked myself into it. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Wells. Probably by TKO early. Probably like the first round, I think, to be honest. At bantamweight, we have Kyler Phillips taking on Hyony Barcelos. Man, Barcelos just got knocked out badly by Umar Nurmagomedov. He's 36 at bantamweight. I just can't see it. I can't see him beating Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips is dangerous, man. I believe he has a win over Song Yadong too. Like, Kyler Phillips is really fucking good. He's really young. He's got the reach advantage. I don't like this for old man Barcelos, you know. I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips. Probably getting a stoppage. Jumping up to the main card. This is another fight that I've been excited for. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Ludovic Klein. I really like Ignacio Bahamondes. I think a lot of him. He's really fun to watch fight, and he's pretty good. He's been improving every single time he fights. Ludovic Klein is dangerous, though. He's got a lot of wacky techniques. He's very powerful. He's very explosive. He's very good. But I am going to be going with Ignacio Bahamondes. He's just much bigger. I think he's looked better against similar competition than Ludovic Klein. He's younger. I also think the frame's just going to be hard for Ludovic to work around. He's so big for lightweight. He's 6'3" at lightweight. But there's a lot of 6'3" lightweights, actually, now that I think about it. There's Jalen Turner and Joel Alvarez and Ignacio Bahamondes. These guys are all fucking huge, and they're really hard to get in on. And I just think Ignacio is going to be able to just pick him apart. Probably Ignacio Bahamondes by decision, I think. I think he's just going to tee off on Ludovic Klein. I don't think Ludovic's going to be able to make a read to land anything too big on him. I think he's going to hit air a lot of the time. Light heavyweight, we have Tanner Boser versus Alexa Kammer. This is a weird fight because, man, I love fading Tanner Boser because he sucks. But Alexa Kammer hasn't fought in like 2 years. But Tanner Boser's 1-4 in his last 5, and his only wins against Ovince St. Preux. So does that really make me want to take you? Not at all. Fuck it. I'm going with Alexa Cameron. I'm going with the younger guy. Uh, Tanner Boser just looks like shit. I don't know what else to say. He just looks terrible. They have him as minus 170. Give me that plus 145. I'm not laying chalk on Tanner Boser ever. Moving up to featherweight, we have Diego Lopez versus Gavin Tucker. Diego Lopez, I like this guy. He looked really good against Movsar Evloev. Gavin Tucker, when the fuck is the last time he fought? I think it was when he got knocked out by Dan Ige. That shit was like 3 years ago, right? That was a long time ago. Gavin Tucker's pretty good, though. But he's 37. 37, huge layoff. I'm taking Diego Lopez. This shit is free. I don't know. Diego Lopez looked very, very good. He looked very dangerous against Mobsar. And Gavin Tucker, there's been no activity. And he's old. He's given up 6.5 inches of reach as well. Yeah, I'm not touching old man Gavin Tucker. I'll tell you that fucking much right now. Give me Diego Lopez. Going up to light heavyweight, we have Dustin Jacoby versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. This is another just kind of pick-em fight as far as I'm concerned. It seems like people are leaning more towards Kennedy. Fuck. I'm kind of biased. I really like Dustin Jacoby. I think I'm going to pick Dustin Jacoby. I think if that fight with Azamat Murakanov did not happen, I think Dustin Jacoby would be the favorite in this fight. I think people are experiencing some recency bias here. I'm going to go with Dustin Jacoby because he's a better kickboxer than Kennedy. And what does Kennedy have? I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about how they're picking Kennedy because whenever he gets hurt, he turns into like fucking a better fighter or something. I'm like, if your reason for picking this guy is that he gets better as he gets hurt, that's not good enough. That's not a good enough reason for me to take him. I don't want my fighter to get hurt on the feet. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you get hurt, you don't exactly recover. And when, Dustin Jacoby is hurting you on the feet, yikes, man. That's not good. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dustin Jacoby. I just think he's a better kickboxer. I think he can play the range game with Kennedy, even though Kennedy has a ridiculous reach. I think Dustin Jacoby is adept enough to play that game with him. And I think a lot of Kennedy's best performances are against guys who aren't very close in size to him because he likes to work on guys who are in the pocket with him a lot. And I don't think Dustin Jacoby is going to enter the pocket. I don't think he's going to clinch with him. I don't think he's going to be very close with him. So I think it's just going to be kind of a distance striking match. And I can slightly favor Dustin Jacoby in that because I just think he's better at kickboxing. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dustin Jacoby, probably by decision or maybe a late TKO. Co-main event, we have Jessica Andrade versus Tatiana Suarez. They have Tatiana Suarez at a minus 400. That's bananas. But I understand why, because Jessica Andrade just got knocked out, and she looked fucking terrible. She's just running straight in, windmilling punches. And not a good look. Not a good look. And she got smoked by Blanchfield. I think that was the fight before that one, I think. And Tatiana Suarez just looks good, dude. Like, I don't know. Do I want to put anything on her at minus 400? No. Do I think she's going to win? Yes. Probably a decision. I think she's just going to dominate her. I think Jessica Andrade leaves herself way too open. She doesn't have very good striking defense. She's got good power, but she's given up a lot of reach too. I just don't like this fight for her. I think it's a tough matchup. I think Suarez handles her pretty easily, to be honest. Moving up to the main event, Corey Sandhagen, Rob Font. The people are on Corey Sandhagen, and I am one of the people. I'm on Corey Sandhagen. Rob Font is really good. He's got great boxing. He's got pretty good grappling defense as well. I picked him over fucking Adrian Yanez. Uh, People were disrespecting Rob Font for that Adrian Yanez fight. Uh, like man, like Rob Font is really quite good, but I don't think he could handle Corey Sandhagen's dynamicness, if that makes sense. Because Corey Sandhagen kind of mixes it up with everything. Kicking, elbows, knees, punches, takedowns, sweeps. He does it all, and he throws it in wherever he wants. And he does it very fluidly. It flows from one movement to the next, and he's really good at that. And I think that's going to be a lot for Rob Font. Corey Sandhagen's last two wins were Song Yadong and Marlon Vera as well, and he's just looked incredible in both of those, man. He's just so fucking good at everything. I just feel like he's going to be able to overwhelm Rob Font as this fight goes on. And Rob Font's not a young guy either. He's 36. He's taking a lot of damage. This is just a really, really hard fight for Rob Font. I think Rob Font is really good, but I don't think he gets this one done against Sandhagen. I believe this is at a catch weight. Yeah, catch weight. Probably like 140. Corey was supposed to be fighting Umar Nurmagomedov, but he pulled out. Nurmagomedov pulling out shocked the nation. But I feel like Corey Sandhagen is just really, really prepared for this, and I feel like Rob Font taking this on short notice, it's just a bad look. I don't feel like it's going to go well for him. So I'm going to go with Corey Sandhagen, probably by like late TKO. Probably like third or fourth round. I think he's going to get him out of there. I think he's going to overwhelm him and finish him. That is it for this one, boys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope we sweep this card. I will see you guys next time.